on this webinar to please invite other colleagues who have not joined, because we really want to start and also be able to keep within the time. Also a reminder, please keep your mics on mute until you have been given chance to speak. And also during the presentation, feel free to type in any comments in the chat. This will be addressed by the presenter at the end of the presentation. Today, unlike other days, we really have a very interesting topic. As Benjamin alluded, Busoga Health Forum wants to improve health within the region, but also within the country. And as professionals, all of us on this webinar, I think this is our desire, that we improve health in the communities where we are. But also, as we focus on improving health in this community, it's so important that we also improve ourselves and be able to grow and also be in better position to influence and impact the communities where we serve. So as part of today's topic, we will be looking at unlocking your potential, and we'll be looking at the power of lifelong learning and career growth. And amongst us today, we have a presenter with vast experience in this area, and he will be sharing with us the knowledge and the skills that he has attained over a long period of service. And that is Dr. Ismail Difuna. He's already on the call. For those of you that don't know Dr. Ismail Difuna, he's a retired senior international civil servant with over 25 years of experience in designing and managing social programs. And a large part of his work and experience have been working with the United Nations in health and also human rights programming. Dr. Ndifuna has worked with international agencies, civil society, and government sectors to advocate, promote, and execute a range of interventions on issues related to health, with particular emphasis on sexual and reproductive health, as well as adolescent health, gender equality, and women empowerment, among others. He is also a certified success coach and trainer, and he has been coaching people to overcome life challenges in health and well-being, but also in career guidance, work, relationships, and personal development. And this has been ongoing since 2009. And in his extensive career, Dr. Ndifuna has served in several interview boards and panels, helping organizations to recruit, engage, and orient onboarding and continuing staffs on job tasks and career assessment. Dr. Ndifuna is currently the Executive Director of Family Concept Center, a civil society organization working to ensure young people, particularly the vulnerable and socially less privileged, are healthy, empowered, active, and productive, and have access to social, economic, and development information and services. As you have heard, colleagues, this is a gentleman with a wealth of experience that we want to tap in, and also we want to learn from. Therefore, at this juncture, I want to invite Dr. Ndifuna, if you could go ahead and share your screen and take it over. I believe all members are eagerly waiting to listen from you. Over to you, Dr. Ndifuna.
Thank you, Dr. Roland. Thank you, colleague, the Busoga Health Forum. I want to join Benjamin and other colleagues to congratulate you, Roland, on having attained one of the highest levels in our education system of PhD. I I'm enthused by the display of colors actually I saw on the screen, and you deserve that very much. Congratulations, Dr. Roland. Thank you for introducing me, being so kind to introduce me, alluding to my long experience in service in different areas of development. I want also to take the opportunity to thank Busoga Health Forum, especially Benjamin, who we have worked with since I came back from outside this country as a young person who is industrious and has a thirst for development. He has attended some of my programs and I've attended his, and I've seen how industrious Benjamin is. And I think in his thinking, together with other colleagues like Dr. Moses Changwa, they saw it fit that I come today and I share my experience. The beauty about sharing experience is that you can actually call yourself the expert.
Dr. Ndifuna, would you mind sharing your screen?
After all, you are the expert in the area because you're talking about your experience. And usually your experience is personal to hold. So I'll share my screen now. That was a short intro so that I speak to it. May I know whether you are getting my screen now?
Yes, Dr. Ndifuna, we see your screen.
Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for inviting me to give my thought about the topic on the power of lifelong learning and the unlocking people's potential. As I've been introduced, I'm the Executive Director of Family Concept Center, where I've been working for quite a long time, but I've been in active service as Executive Director for the last 1.5 years. I'm happy to share my thoughts, especially where it entails talking about potential. We have used the word potential in many respects, and I thought I should give my own working definition of potential in this regard. I want to submit that when we are talking about unlocking potential, the potential we are talking about is a factor of energy and time, which for some people is also the definition of life. When we are born, God endows us with energy and also prescribes a time that He has hidden from us and we never know when we shall live. But what is clear is that both energy and the time are dispensable, and we start spending on them as we live. So when you are talking about attaining full potential, in my view, this is the use of energy and time in the most efficient and effective manner to achieve life's purpose, as of course designated or assigned to us by God, and also to achieve our goals. I want to submit as my working definition for this topic. At Family Concept Center, as you heard from the preamble, we seek to support young people to reach their career, professional, and personal development goals. And we do this through vocational skilling, coaching, mentoring, and career pathing strategies. We empower them so that they reach their highest potential in these areas and in the manner that I've defined as my working definition. So unlocking potential, therefore, would refer in this respect to identifying and utilizing an individual's unique strengths, skills, and abilities to achieve their life goals. There must be a way we can efficiently use these two factors to achieve our life goals, whether these are personal goals, career advancement goals, or other areas where individuals are seeking to reach their goals. It means, therefore, that before a young person unlocks his or her potential, they must understand life's purpose and then set goals. At Family Concept Center, we encourage young people to ask themselves 3 fundamental questions when you are mentoring them and coaching them in setting goals. We encourage them to ask themselves the question, what do you want to be? What do you want to have? And what do you want to do? And we give a time frame of about 10 years so that they reflect on those 3 questions. These questions help them to set goals in a more practical way as opposed to a theoretical way, and it engages them in some self-examination about life purpose and also their goals. And it is amazing when you give young people an opportunity to do this, they come up with various ways of doing it and also with various results. Through our success coaching programs, we encourage young people to look at life using the lens of 7 life vision areas, which I'm sure affect all of us. And I'll be mentioning some of these. And then apply those fundamental questions that I've been talking about on those 7 life vision areas. So when we craft our coaching programs, we empower individuals to reach their full potential in that regard. And through these programs, we provide structured guidance and support, which we tailor to the unique needs of each participant, meaning that once a young person has been engaged in answering those questions, then we have a structured way of guiding that person to set strategies to address the unique needs that person finds. So the 7 life vision areas are mainly finance, because everybody is impacted by that. Personal development, which suits very well with our topic today of lifelong learning. Career and job. Relationships. Fun and recreation, which actually takes a lot of time, especially among young people. Contribution to community, which some people already engaged in. I've seen some young people in Iganga engaged in this and taking it seriously. We've hosted them here when they organize themselves to look after the environment. Then health and well-being. Those are the 7 life vision areas which impact all of us. And when people are setting goals and therefore want to measure their potential against some goals, it is always helpful to look at those life vision areas and ask themselves questions. So under that, when you read, I've been describing some parameters of each of the life vision areas. At Family Concept Center, we use storytelling and self-discovery as a very, very powerful strategy for engaging young people. We've had a number of sessions where we invited young people to tell their stories. This is because we believe that storytelling is a powerful tool in mentorship, as it enables both the mentor and the young individuals to share their life stories. What I usually do when I have a young person talking to me about their lives, I tell my story, which is a long story because I've been around for some time. And by the time I finish my story, that young person feels encouraged to tell his or her story. We then draw parallels. We identify common experiences. His or her life may be short, but it's amazing to see that there are parallels that you can draw in one's short life and the other's long life that can actually be used to bridge the conversation and make people comfortable to talk to each other. So we do that a great deal. And while we are giving each other, sharing about our life stories, we identify qualities that the person telling the story may not have discovered that he has. That person starts recognizing distinctive attributes and talents that may have been hidden. He has all of them all the time, but they may have been hidden. So for us, storytelling is a strategy that we've commonly used. Everybody wants to hear a story. Young persons particularly want to hear stories, and the older men want to tell stories. So we find it's a very uniting factor and is a bridge between the generations. In those stories, we also determine the potential because we use individual qualities and skills to map out people's potential, path, and also opportunities. So once the story is told, we usually analyze the story along several parameters. We tell the young person to look at events or transitions that have had an impact in their lives in the past, as far as they can remember. Some of these points may be happy events or positive events, but many times young people and other people too remember negative events because those are vivid and they come quite quickly. We ask them to look at obstacles that may have blocked their development along the way, but also look at opportunities that came along the way that may have jumped on or sometimes may have missed. And in telling the story, they start realizing that they could have used an opportunity they missed. In our journey, life journey, we also have helpers that are not always celebrated. If you ask Dr. Roland today about the PhD has attained, to mention the helpers, there are many silent helpers he may forget. And yet these helpers also contribute to our growth and development. We encourage young people to remember these silent helpers so that eventually we can recognize them, celebrate them, and also reflect on ourselves as perhaps helpers that may be helping some people without our knowledge. So we engage young people in what we call a reflective practice, which means encouraging young persons to throw their minds back in time to look at those events they experienced, the milestones they went through as they grew, and also the opportunities and obstacles, not forgetting some of the happy moments they may have met along the way. We use the life story to learn more about the mentee or the young person we are talking to, so we can form a learning relationship informed by life experiences. As I said, whether somebody's life is short or as long as mine, you can usually draw parallels in people's life stories and journeys. And those are a powerful bridge that can be used to form a relationship, not only between the individual being counseled and the mentor, mentored, but also a relationship that we can use as a learning relationship in the future. We use the mentee's experience as he talks about his life and walks this journey to identify qualities in him, to identify skills and abilities that they could have acquired along the way, along their life journey, but may have not picked as important qualities. Sometimes people have qualities, in fact, many of us have qualities that we may not know about. For example, as you are talking to a young person, in his or her story, you may find elements of integrity in some of the activities or responses he made to situations and events. You may have seen elements of honesty, sometimes dishonesty as it comes out through the story, elements of professionalism if he has lived a professional life, resilience if he has gone through tough times, And if he has interacted widely or moved to situations, you can also start picking whether this person embraces diversity or is cocooned in his own area and tribe, and perhaps does not think about other people and the way they live. We also get the opportunity to see how this person communicates. Because once you give somebody an opportunity to tell a story, and this story, and you remove all the obstacles to speaking, then the true communication between two peoples occurs, and then you can pick this as an element that can be used as a strength or can be grown to become a strength. So in the story, we pull together the significant events, as I said, the opportunities, the significant helpers, and mark them against a timeline so that one is able to say that in 1979, when President Amin was being overthrown, I was in this place, and this is how I suffered, this is what I did. And once you do that, you start picking some of the qualities that one may need to develop or take forward in his or her career or even life processes. Once we have this story timeline, we reconstruct the young person's story along the 7 life vision areas and present it in the form of narrative. In other words, if we want to know some of the predicaments or some of the good or bad things that a young person went through dealing with finances, you ask, after he has told the story, you ask that young man, the last time he faced a financial difficulty, and that in itself will expose a lot of events, and he may remember that there are times that were really hard. He may remember who helped. He may be able to pick some qualities that he used to get out of that bad situation. If you talk about relationship, the last time somebody had a bad relationship or a relationship that work can bring a lot to the story the young person already told you. So we reconstruct the young person's story by matching it against the 7 life vision areas I've shared. Now, once we have this story put in a narrative, we used to analyze this story, physically, using whatever knowledge to reflect on the story. Intelligence tools are found in my coaching, very useful approaches to trying to reconstruct the true potential of a person who has told his or her story. So these days I use, ChatGPT, a Copilot, whatever AI tool you use. After we've constructed our story, we put this story in one of these tools and prompt the tool to give us highlights about the true potential of a person with such a story. And you'll be amazed at how AI tools help you to analyze the story and also give you highlights or insights into somebody's true potential. And once you have this, then you move to discuss this new story, paying particular attention to the young person's true potential as has been depicted in the tool you used. This will enable you to see some possibilities. It may enable you to see existing abilities in the person and also possible opportunities. We find this exciting, and when we are talking to young people here, we get mixed emotions because they are amazed, they are surprised, they cry, they laugh, but in the end, they turn out different people after the storytelling and the interpretation of the story. So once we've done this and we've known a little bit about their true potential, we run a program to expose the young person to a variety of possibilities as revealed in the reconstructed story. And using the potential derived from the story, we expose them to a variety of life options. And also point out the qualities that they may have missed, the attributes that they have, and how they can use these to live a more meaningful life. I find this the most exciting part of the work I do, because when you look at the time you get a young person in your office, how you struggle to get that person comfortable enough to tell the story, and how you tell your story, which makes him comfortable, and how you reconstruct the story based on vision areas and, make that person remember, and then how you come out to look at the true potential as may exist in that person. I find that very, very exciting and very fulfilling. So once we have these potentials explored, then we undertake an individual competence assessment. Based on the requirements of the life options in question, we identify strengths, weaknesses, and challenges the young person exhibited as we interacted with them during the assessment. See that now this creates a ground for setting young man or young woman off either a career path or lifelong path based on what he now believes he has a strength, based on what he sees areas to improve, and based on the challenges and how this can be transformed into potentials that can be leveraged in an efficient way of using energy and time to achieve a better person. So at Family Concept Center, we believe that mentorship and coaching play a crucial role in helping young people. And increasingly, as we get more and more tools to help us do this, we find the kind of work more supported to overcome barriers to learning and who are put on the journey to achieving their full potential in whichever way we define. Coaching, mentoring, and career pathing opportunities, we provide them with the support they need to apply their strengths and reduce their weaknesses as they strive towards achieving their set goals. So AI tools can also help mentors to write an advisory. All you do once you've set up this, a conversation with the AI tool, you can prompt it to write an advisory to the young person you are guiding. This advisory will come out as a guide this young person's new journey and grow a career path complete with requisite qualities, skills, and competencies. It's also an amazing way which I encourage people who are mentoring young people to try, because once the story is told, and I think that's the difficult part, and once you engage some of these tools that are now available and use them properly, it makes the mentor's work easier. If you ask Copilot or ChatGPT, whatever AI tool you are using, to create an advisory to guide these young people, because it sets the agenda for lifelong learning and the agenda for support and mentorship. So through this career coaching and development, we start addressing weaknesses, because remember, throughout this process, we are identifying personal challenges and obstacles from one's life story. We are developing strategies to overcome these weaknesses, which can be lifelong, because the story never ends, and whenever you travel a journey, you are meeting, the challenges, obstacles, opportunities. So the journey continues, which makes learning, which makes mentorship lifelong as well. But most importantly, once you get these possibilities, options to these lifelong processes brought out, then it gives us an opportunity as mentors, and also it gives the mentee opportunity to start exploring some of those possibilities by using insights from those personal experiences to guide the exploration. And you find it encourages open-mindedness, because remember, somebody is working alongside or based on his or her story, so it will not be theoretical. And it gives the basis for skills development, where you focus on building somebody's strength and aligning them with career aspirations. That, in a way, are also derived from the possibilities that you have discussed. So what remains now is for us to provide the resources and the support for acquiring the new skills the young person may need to attain his full potential. At Family Concept Center, we've used a number of approaches for continuous education and guidance of young people. We have a popular one we call mock job interviews, just like the word says, it is a mock. In mock job interviews, we create a pseudo story, a pseudo job description. We share it with the interested candidates for them to study. We tell them to prepare for a mock interview. We set up a set of panelists, usually distinguished panelists from human resource groups and individuals. I know some of the people listening to this webinar have been a part of the panel where young people come and they are interviewed in a mock job interview in the presence of other young people who are listening and learning. It's a very exciting process, very satisfying to the young person who volunteers to become an interviewee in the mock interview. We've also organized dream career challenges where we encourage young people to explore and articulate their dream career. And you'll be amazed at the variety of options that young people put up when they are doing this dream career challenge. How it inspires them to self-reflect and also to goal set. And how that can be a beginning for support, for mentorship, for coaching, and for lifelong learning. It benefits them in various ways. People who go through this develop critical thinking. And most importantly, they come up and say, I never knew I could speak like this in public. I never knew that people would appreciate what I was going to say. I never knew that I would ever tell my story the way it was. So it is something that boosts their confidence and something that motivates them to pursue their goals and also to seek support. Then we have another approach we use. We call it job shadowing. We give opportunities for a few people to come and work side by side by our office staff here, some of them with the adequate qualifications to guide the others. And we provide young people with this opportunity to gain first-hand experience from these people. They work alongside employees at Family Concept Center, and sometimes partner organization, one of which is Iganga Iganga University Youth Association. They have provided people to support in job shadowing, and they've also participated in job shadowing. So in this job shadowing, the participant gains a lot of career insights. They observe established professionals. I've had one shadowing me as an executive director. I've had another one shadowing our manager. I've had another one shadowing our accountant. And they find it exciting and of learning value because the exposure helps them to make informed career choices and also helps them to understand the skills required in specific fields. While we have young people here, we also engage them in leadership roles. In our meetings, which happen every day, we engage young people as chairpersons of meetings. And once they are in those meetings, they learn how to conduct a meeting. They learn how to develop the agenda. They learn how to follow the agenda, and they learn how to write minutes. And in so doing, they develop some of the essential skills leaders must have, and it also builds their confidence. Because then they can go to other places when they live here and act based on what they learn in practice. We have internship placements. We are a center now for internships. We have a number of institutions that have chosen to come to Family Concept Center for internship. In fact, what we are lacking now is enough space and perhaps enough capacity to accommodate them. But many institutions have liked our style. They have liked the way we work with young people, and they have sent their young people, after doing the vocational training, for example, to gain practical skills and knowledge that is relevant to their field of study. So overall, we see that some of these coaching programs, mentoring programs, are useful in empowering young people, especially success coaching programs, which we craft deliberately to empower young individuals to reach their full potential. Because they provide structural guidance and support tailored to the unique needs of each participant. And if you are talking about achieving full potential, which in my case I defined as efficiently using the energy and time that we are all endowed with to achieve life purposes and objectives, I think these approaches are well above average in making sure this happens. I would like to stop here. Thank you very much for listening to me. It was a pleasure for me to be at this forum and a pleasure for me to address this caliber of people as I see in the list. And I'm very grateful to the Busoga Health Forum and the colleagues who thought it important and useful to invite me to share what I do and my experiences. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ndifuna, for such a wonderful presentation and sharing with us your work. And as you are sharing, I hope all colleagues were reflecting. The work that was shared was mostly what is being done among the young people. But this also applies to all of us as young people, no matter what your age is. It's important that we get to reflect. We all still have a lot of potential to fulfill, and therefore it's important that we utilize energy and time appropriately or efficiently in order to be able to achieve the goals. Dr. Ndifuna, I also want to thank you for highlighting that it's important that all of us set goals. This is not only for young people, but for all of us. And I liked the questions that you started with, that I hope everyone is reflecting upon. What do you want to be? What do you want to have? And what do you want to do? And I think with such constant questions, if we continue asking ourselves, then we are able to see whether we have fully utilized our potential, or there's still more that we can do. I've seen most of the time, civil servants, we get contented where we are. We really reflect on this and identify what are those unique skills and knowledge that I have or that I need to get so that I'm able to even achieve more. So, Dr. Ndifuna, we will look at some of the comments. Any comments? Is there anyone? and we allow you to speak. But if there's none, we can look through the comments. I think one person is grateful to listen to Dr. Ndifuna for the presentation. They are thankful. There's a person asking, Matthias, Dr. Ndifuna, can you show, can you share more light on what you mean by being an international civil servant? I think that's in part of the bio. You'll answer that. Then Matthias again asks, what if a person gives a wrong story, meaning AI will give a wrong version of this person's potential? Can you throw more light on what safeguards there can be? Dr. Ndifuna, any comments on that?
Thank you very much, Roland. And the term international civil servant is a United Nations term. When you are working for the United Nations, you become a civil servant, and they differentiate that civil servant from the one working for his country. So they call them international civil servant. It is generally a term that is used in those circles. About telling the wrong story, certainly if somebody is concocting a story, very likely even the interpretation, even if you did not use AI, would be wrong. So one way we avoid this is that, first of all, this is demand-driven. Somebody wants to tell the story. We do not ask people to just come and tell stories. And we do not reward stories by money, which would motivate somebody to tell the story. So those people that have come to us and said they want to tell a story truly have touching stories. And the way I know they are touching stories, when they get to the tough points, they're very emotional. You find those people's emotions change with the story they are telling. If somebody is lying, I don't think I can get as emotional as young people I see in my office crying. The other time I was making a joke to my manager that I need a set of wipes, because whenever young people are telling the stories, they get emotional about certain situations, certain events, and they inevitably are overtaken by emotion. So I have evidence to believe that if we are hearing a story from a young person who you've made comfortable by telling your own story first, and you've created an environment where she's free to open up, that story is likely going to be the right story pertaining to his situation. Perhaps the challenge we have, people forget. If somebody told you to tell a story, there are many, many things you forget. And that's why we match this story against the life vision area so that we help them remember certain situations. Somebody may have forgotten that he went through hardships in the finances. When we talk about the financial life vision area, they remember. So about using AI, it is a tool that we found use. Otherwise, before AI, we are doing it physical. And I think we are even making more mistakes than we are making now, because your interpretation mainly depended on your exposure. If you are less exposed, of course, your interpretation would also be limited. AI now gives you a framework, and against that framework, you can give a wider view about the story and about the discussion.
Okay, thank you very much. I think Albert agrees with you. Says his key learning for this webinar is the need to integrate AI into my daily work. Otherwise, most of the people are thanking you for the wonderful presentation. Diana here, I personally have learned a lot about discovering my potential as a youth and how best I can utilize it I hope everyone has also gotten the same message. Are there any more questions?
There is a hand from
There are
Diana.
any you could type? There's a hand. I see Diana. Diana, you can unmute and make your comment or ask a question. Diana Wesesa?
Yes, please. Okay, good evening to everyone. I trust you are well. Thank you all for putting some time aside and to attend this webinar. Congratulations to Dr. Roland upon a PhD attained. When we see people like you attaining PhDs, as we young people, you inspire us to be like, hey, we wish one day to wear such a gown. Yes. Thank you, Dr. Ndifuna, for a great presentation. I personally have been a beneficiary of your knowledge. I participated in one of the products at Family Concepts, and I've never remained the same. And every time I keep running back to you in case I feel like some things are not adding up. But I have a question. Dr. Ndifuna, as we young people, we are living in a world that is a bit changed, not like your days. And we have people, we young people, we are ambitious. And also there's this thing called multitasking. How best would you advise us to, as youth, we tend to multitask a lot. And this is one thing that also has tended to divert us from realizing what we are really good at, or what main thing we should focus on as young people. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you, Diana. Dr. Ndifuna, you can take it.
Yes, thank you, Diana. It's so nice to find you in this forum. Diana is one of our young people who have told the story and who have had their stories developed into potential areas. And now we are engaged in looking at those potential areas or potentials with her so that we chart some path as it comes along. And then asks an interesting question, because there was a time when multitasking was actually promoted. It was like you could juggle many things at the same time. But when you look at how our brain works, I think our brain is an organ of focus. Whenever you are more focused, it actually serves you more. It brings you more results. It is a brain that requires cool and calmness. So distractions are actually a disadvantage to the way our brains work. I don't know whether you've tried out what I do every day and I've done for years, because I wake up at 4 a.m. Every morning, and I noticed that between 4 a.m. and 6, my brain works the best of all times during the day. I think this is because the world is calmer, there's less noise, and I'm more focused on what I'm doing. So for many, many years, I've woken up at that time to benefit from that. If, for example, you take multitasking to include some of the new attractions and technologies, like WhatsApp, like email, like TikTok, I wonder how one can multitask, listening to radio, listening to music, going to TikTok, and doing the serious work or tasks that he's supposed to be doing to advance himself or herself, and then that person does better. Certainly, the distraction will affect what you achieve. And therefore, I advise But instead of getting all the things done at the same time, it's better you focus and prioritize certain things to work on so that you get better results. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think that's important. Any other quick questions?
I can hope the doctor picks some from the chat.
Okay.
John Patrick says, thank you for the great presentation. As somebody who was at Makerere University, at the same time with a fellow resident of University Hall, I'm proud to see how you have transformed over years. Oh, maybe appreciating Dr. You were the same university at the same time, and appreciating how you have transformed. Yeah, I think they follow the organization's work and regularly share your write-ups with the Busoga community in Boston. That's John Patrick, if that's helpful with you. Then Banada Matthias again says, thank you, Dr. Ndifuna. If well handled, these approaches into health departments and other counseling avenues to use AI to settle most client issues. Yeah, I think they were all comments, and I give it back to Dr. Roland and Sam.
All right, thank you very much. We really want to appreciate Dr. Ndifuna. I think this was a very insightful presentation. One thing also I noticed in the presentation was the need to identify helpers, mentors, coaches. I think it's very important. But also, as we identify them, you can also be one. So you can identify who's your mentor, but you can also as well mentor someone. So it's important that we also try and do that. Then other issues, it's important that we address weaknesses within us upon self-reflection, exploring possibilities, what is available to us, what are we able to do, and key skills development. What skill do I need to be able to move from point A to point B, and how can I harness or develop this skill? Yeah. Otherwise, once again, I want to thank Dr. Ndifuna and also Busoga Health Forum for organizing this webinar. And I want to invite Benjamin in the next 2 minutes, I think, to close.
Yes, I don't have the guest to close this session. Let me invite our board chair, Professor Oyster Peter, to give closing remarks and also close the session. Yes, Professor Peter.
Sorry, I had some problems unmuting. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prof, we can hear you.
Yes, Professor, we can hear you.
So first of all, I would like to congratulate Dr. Roland Mutumba. One, because I was there at Mackay when you were graduating. You walked so majestically. I even took a picture. I hope you've seen it. And he even danced. I don't know whether he remembers, in that moment. Can't imagine Dr. Mutumba dancing, But to congratulate Dr. Mutumba, because for people on this call, I think it is inspirational. Dr. Mutumba is a very nice pediatrician who doesn't come from Iganga, but works in Iganga. I think those are the pictures. And is so committed to his children. But for me, most important, Dr. Mutumba, you're one of the few people who started your PhD while in Iganga and finished it. Amongst them is Dr. Lubega Muhammad, and myself. I did before Lubega, then I introduced Lubega to PhD, and then from Tomba, I think we worked together a bit here and there. So big congratulations. So for some of you who think to do a PhD, you just need to be in the university. Not Mutumba disapproves that. And you did it in a short time on an important topic. So and yes, he's a very humble man. And so congratulations, Dr. Mutumba. Very proud of that achievement. And I mean it.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Yeah, congratulations. And so I think it should be an inspiration to people, but don't just rush into that. I want to do a PhD also. When people come to me to say they want a PhD, I ask them, why do you want a PhD? Especially if they are not in a university, in a research institution. Maybe you need something else. But that talk, I'm not the one to give that talk today. So it's Dr. Andifuna, you should know, this guy is asking me to make this talk. And I told them there is somebody better. Find Dr. Andifuna. Here is his contact. They debated a lot. Professor, you must give the talk. But the next thing I saw is
So grateful.
The next thing I saw is the advert, and I knew they had gotten the right person. For some of you who don't know, you should feel very happy and proud that you've had the opportunity. Because Dr. Andifuna is this really very calm, humble person, but who is, even before he went international, he was international working here for UNFPA, and then went to other places and came back to settle in Iganga. So Dr. Andifuna, I've been seeing a lot of your posting, and of course I know people you've met over a long time. And it is great that you came back and settled there, but also continue doing this kind of work and giving this talk. So as the Busoga Health Forum, we are grateful because this is why we exist, to use the experts to actually come back and make a difference. So I think you're an example, and you should help us mobilize others. I'll be calling you so that we talk a little bit more. So Dr. Nifna, in appreciation, please receive this small token of appreciation from Busoga Health Forum, and feel free to be active, to be available, to give more talks at Busoga Health Forum. Thank you, Dr. Nifna.
Thank you very much, Prof.
Yeah, and Dr. Roland, I've already said all the good words. Just receive this token on top of the certificate, the PhD certificate you got yesterday. And I wish you all the best. I look forward to collaborating with you. For all the others, please work to succeed, because succeed we must. And there are so many opportunities. Those who say they're younger people, there is an estimate that in 25 years, 1 out of every 5 people of working age will be an African. But which type of African? Are you the type who can save your country and the world? So please work on it. The world needs you. Congratulations, and Benjamin, thank you for his organizing and for your colleagues at Busoga Health Forum, including the CME group. Have a lovely weekend, and members, see you next week on Friday at 8 p.m. Last year, we actually reached 10,000 people in our CMEs. So thank you for always turning up at Busoga Health Forum. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, members. We meet next week. We shall have Professor Rose Jaro, Professor with a PhD in nursing. So we welcome all nurses, we welcome all medical professionals to come and listen to Professor Rose Jaro. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye.